Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. It's a season-opening home game for the Aggies as they welcome UTEP to Maverick Stadium. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Let's lock in.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, join Hanson Scotty coming up tomorrow from noon to 3 at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South, 700 East. Let's see. Guy on a Buffalo Snap Talks in, Ben. Said, spoke to someone this weekend that just got home from being a mission president. Said he had never heard of the one-year mission. Said it is likely either special permission or he's just saying I'm coming home in a year. Deal with it? Okay. All right. Well, good times.
Whatever floats your boat. Yeah, it's not up to me. It seems like a very personal decision.
Now, do you think that would be like intentionally get sent home?
Sure. Just fake an injury.
Or like have really bad behavior? Isn't that why they send you home from a mission in theory?
I may know some people.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Just keep telling your mission president about your girlfriend that you have on your mission. That'll get you sent home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you intentionally submarine the thing or can you just bounce? How does that work? I honestly don't know.
I mean, they can't pull your passport, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's nobody physically keeping somebody there.
So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Buy a plane ticket. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a free man. You're 18 years old.
But it
might not be 18
kind
yet.
of weird to be going into it with that mentality, no?
You didn't bring enough suits? Why do you have
You're not
half
gonna
as
be here
much
for like
stuff
12
as
months?
I do.
I'm going to be QB1 at BYU, man. You kidding?
I'll be curious. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know how that works either.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like I said, all the missionaries in my life have all been 2-year excursions. Then they come back with a Spanish accent.
Usually put on some weight or lost a lot.
It depends on where you go.
I
did have that observation with my friends that the stateside missionaries were coming back heavy,
yeah,
and most of the time balding.
Oh, you went to Wisconsin. Interesting.
Yeah, right. And then if my friends that got sent to Brazil or Argentina or something where and especially if they got posted remote areas, it's like came back thin.
Yeah.
And a Spanish accent.
But admirable regardless.
I had a buddy that went to Europe, went to like Italy. Mm-hmm. He came back very defeated.
Why?
No, it's just you don't have a lot of success, you know?
Sure, it's a stronghold.
Yeah.
Notorious stronghold.
I don't know how many
the Catholics.
baptisms or whatever he had, but he came back and he's like, man, I got the door slammed in my face a lot. Not a whole lot of success.
Sure.
Whereas in other parts of the world, I think missionaries are a little more, the numbers come up a little bit.
Okay. That makes sense.
I had a buddy who went to the Philippines and ate monkey brains. That's pretty crazy. If you were on a mission, Ben, and monkey brains were slid in front of you, you would?
Do you know it's monkey brains beforehand?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm a polite man. I'm adventurous.
See, I am too, but I don't know. Monkey brains might be a bridge too far.
Where is the bridge? Is that where you cut it off?
Yeah. How far up the body are you willing to go?
Well, I
How
told
low
you.
are you willing to go? You eating chicken feet?
I told you I went to an like a traditional Chinese wedding that had like a 21-course meal, and I had to tell him like, hey, you got to stop telling me what this stuff is. I'm going to eat it. I'm here for the experience. It's delicious, but you got to stop telling me what this stuff is because I do have a line as much as I would like to pretend that I don't.
Christian, you have a line? You eaten tongue?
I've had tongue.
Yeah. Lengua. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Lengua tacos are A+.
I'm sure that maybe in the moment I'd maybe be like, oh, I don't know if I'm feeling it today.
I don't know if I'd eat an eyeball.
Yeah, that's a good.
It seems textury. It seems the potential to pop is not something I'm all that interested in. I would rather eat a brain than an eyeball.
Yeah, I've had, I guess it's not super weird, but like cheek. They call it cabeza.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I knowingly ate a cow testicle.
Mm-hmm. You told that story.
I have. That was.
I've not done that.
That was thanks to Craig Bolerjack.
You've not done
and
the
Gordon
Rocky
Monson.
Mountain oyster.
But yeah, brain.
You got to survive, man.
Oh, well, we're not talking survival here.
Well, at
We're
some
talking
point,
about-
somebody ate a brain to survive, and then they were, I guess, pretty
well,
good.
we're talking about etiquette, though. We're talking about how polite are you?
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're excited about eating the monkey brain.
Probably not.
So how polite are you?
Yeah, sure. I don't know what's in a hot dog.
My father,
I've eaten some brains in a hot dog. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I've had brain.
my father-in-law's into like juicing things and that sort of stuff. He's kind of a naturalist that way. He makes cantaloupe juice, but he includes the rind, which I thought was pretty interesting. Making it like a green color, but it still tasted like a cantaloupe.
Yeah.
A lot of fiber in the rind.
Sure, I believe it.
Yeah, a lot of fiber in the
Thick.
rind. Oh man, that's funny. All right, Ben. College football week is upon us, which is fantastic. He's super excited about our coverage here on the station. Christian, how did the first week of the football coverage go?
It was cool. Yeah, Saturday show is now replaced by College Football Saturday. Alex Curie is joining Alex Napolis and I every Saturday morning from 10 to noon. That's going to act as kind of the pregame shows this year for BYU and Utah instead of doing a pregame right beforehand. And then starting this week, we are going to be going live with true postgame shows immediately following the game. Most of those will be over air when we have space on the signals, but they're all going to be live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, X, and all that stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That really sucks for you this upcoming week, though.
Yes, 9 p.m. kickoff for Utah, so that means post-game is going to be around probably 1-ish. And I was telling you guys my mother-in-law is coming to visit. She's staying in our extra bedroom, so I was like, hey, I got work, guys.
It's also my broadcast studio, so
yeah.
Hope you have some thoughts.
No, you should do it outside for the whole neighborhood.
That's great. That's a good idea.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I do feel for you there, but I also feel for you that how do you do a Utah pregame show where you know nothing about either team?
We've been doing it for the last 6 months. I don't know. What are you talking about?
You haven't. Nobody knows what to expect from UCLA, and I'm half joking about this, but it is obnoxious that we do not have more information because people want to know. People want to preview their games. They want to get stoked about their games, and what do we really know about? You know, we know some stuff about Utah because we are closer to the program and have watched at least last year. We know what to expect from somebody like Smith Snowden and Lander Barton, and there are probably a couple of examples of that with the Bruins, but like they're turning over their whole team, and we haven't seen anything.
Do you think we know more about Utah or BYU?
BYU.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because they're bringing back their coaching staff.
Okay.
You don't know what Jason Beck's offense is going to look like at Utah.
I bet
You
it's
have
going
no
to look
idea.
a lot like what we saw last year at New Mexico.
And how's that going to meld with the rest of the team and the rest of the personnel? I mean, the offensive line is the strength of the team. You're asking them to play a totally different way.
Sure.
So
BYU's got an almost entirely new offensive line. Not entirely new, but
we know what the scheme looks
brand
like.
new tackles and a new quarterback who does things differently. And
We know what A-Rod
conceptually,
wants. We know what A-Rod wants to do.
Yeah.
We know what BYU wants to do defensively. This is Jay Hill's third season with the Cougs. Third. We know what he wants to accomplish. I absolutely think we know more about BYU.
Okay.
I mean,
here's the thing: you can change the offensive coordinator at Utah all you want, and WIT teams look like WIT teams for the most part.
I don't think so, because they did change offensive coordinators every year, and it was always a crapshoot what you were going to get and whether or not it was going to work. Again, the last time they did a spread option, go fast, go hard offense was Dave Christensen, and it was a disaster.
It has worked rarely at Utah, and I mean like a good offense. Rarely have they had a good offense, and it was once Cam Rising stepped on the field that Utah had a good offense. That's really the difference, and that's why I am curious about BYU, because you have a new quarterback stepping on the field that hasn't ever shown anything. At the very least, Devin Dampier has showed that he can do what Devin Dampier does. At the very least, his strengths should translate, and I think we should know what that's going to look like. Now,
in the Big 12?
No, of course it's different than the Mountain West, but he's going to be Devin Dampier. Like, this is not a guy. WIT right now, what I'm really curious is the balance of the offense, right? How much pass, how much throw, what do the percentages look like? Witt's going to tell you it needs to be 50-50. No one actually thinks that's what's going to look like. At least that's not what I think it's going to look like. And I think Devin Dampier's strength is going to be his ability to run the ball. And we have seen quarterbacks who run the ball and generally what that looks like. It's going to be similar over and over and over. But I don't expect an Andy Ludwig type offense. That's fine. I don't know if Andy Ludwig's offense was much to write home about until Cam Rising stepped on the field. And that, I think, can apply to A-Rod, which is, A-Rod wants to have a system and wants to run certain things, but if you don't have a quarterback who can do anything, it doesn't matter what A-Rod wants to do. So that's where I would say, maybe I know who the coaches are, but it may not mean anything to me.
Well, 12 touchdowns and 12 interceptions is not going to inspire confidence. If you're going to say you know what to expect from Dampier, because we saw it in New Mexico, 12 touchdowns and 12 interceptions is going to be rough for Ute fans. And I don't know, would Witt even let him get to 12 interceptions?
No. Well, 12 is not a crazy number by itself. Isn't that what Jake Retzlaff had last year? You have something like 20 and 12. But yeah, if you're as dangerous as you are on the ground, and how many rushing touchdowns did Devin Dampier have last year? 19. I mean, almost twice as many as he had throwing touchdowns. Not almost twice, but quite a few, 7 more. I just don't think Utah's going to be calling a lot of passing plays in the red zone.
Let's see. In 2022, let's call it that, Cam Rising played in 13 games, and this was his career high, by the way. 8 interceptions.
Okay.
The year before, in 13 games, he had 5 total interceptions. Let's see, he had 20 touchdowns in 2021. He had 26 touchdowns to go along with those 8 interceptions in 2022. So, did not turn the ball over, which might have been his superpower.
Tyler Huntley, 10 his first year as a starter, his sophomore season, in 10 games. Then it dropped to 6, then it dropped to 4.
Yeah,
Tyler really got, he's turned into a very good player.
12's a lot.
12 is a lot, yeah. I think Jake Retzlaff led the conference last year, right?
12's a lot. And a lot for a Utah team.
It is.
Now, Ty Detmer would tell you he doesn't give 2 rips about interceptions.
Yeah, Jake had 12 last year. Well, Ty had 6 in a game, right? How many was it in the NFL? He set the record?
He did. Do you know his Heisman campaign?
7 interceptions in a game. It's a lot.
Do you know how many interceptions Ty Detmer had in his Heisman campaign? The year he threw for 5,188 yards.
18. 22. 25. 28.
28.
28 interceptions is crazy.
41 touchdowns, though.
Yeah, well, it's
41 touchdowns, 5,188 yards. That's wild.
Matt Ryan, his final season at Boston College, he had 19 interceptions. So if it's worth it, it's worth it. If you're throwing for 5,000 yards, like Ty Detmer, Matty Ice threw for 4,500 yards. Devin Dampier's throwing for, 2,400 yards, I think, generously.
The hard part about it is, though, and think about this for a second, because this is why the offense-defense meld with Utah is so critical. Kyle Whittingham would have benched Ty Detmer. He would have. Witt would have benched Ty Detmer at interception like 15. Ty Detmer would never have gotten to 5,000 yards. He never would have sniffed it because he would have been not playing.
Well,
Lavelle Edwards famously was very patient with his quarterbacks making mistakes and turning it over. Kyle Whittingham is not.
I am with you then that it's going to be fascinating to watch what Utah does with Devin Dampier, because I think if you let him throw the ball, I think he's going to have turnovers. And you don't have another option.
So now he's playing fast, which does not complement the defense. And he's turning it over, which really does not complement the defense. How patient is the head coach with the offense? And at what point do we see Jason Beck do a protest game like Dave Christensen did against Arizona State, where he refused to pass the ball in the second half? Refused.
But I think this goes back to my point of who do we know more about? Are we sure we know more about BYU or Utah? We know Witt's not going to let that happen. You know that.
Not going to let what happen?
Let Devin Dampier throw for double-digit interceptions, certainly not 15. 12 is only if he's also throwing 20 or if he's rushing for 2 a game. If he has 20 on the ground, that's one thing, and 12 through the air, and he ends up with 32 and 12. That's one thing, and that's basically what he did last year at New Mexico. 31 and 12.
So if he does throw interceptions, you're telling me they're going to turn then to Isaac Wilson, and we're going to see exactly the same thing that happened last year happen
I don't
again?
think so. But I just think
then they go to the true freshman?
No, they're not going to. They won't switch off of Devin Dampier. I don't think they have an option.
You just told me that we know Witt's going to do that.
No, I didn't say that. I said they will neuter. I didn't say this either. They will neuter Devin Dampier. They will neuter the offense, but they're not going to go away from him. But they will just go to what they did after Cam Rising got hurt when they had Nate Johnson, right? Just hand the ball off, or a real simple timing route. Quick. But I don't think you're letting him sit back there. If he's throwing the ball away, the weird thing is he should have a lot of time. That offensive line should dominate. He should have time when he's sitting back there for 4 and 5 seconds.
But he wasn't playing the run and shoot at New Mexico last year. It's not like he was throwing the ball 40 times.
No, he wasn't.
So, I mean, it's pretty neutered already, if that's the term you want to use. It's already down to that. So I don't know. I think there's way more question with how that works necessarily than, I mean, we know like this isn't a positive thing that we know about BYU, but
32 passing attempts a game last year.
We know that BYU is starting a freshman, and we know that that's not going to go well because it never goes well. And I'm not saying go well like he's the worst quarterback we've ever seen. I'm saying not goes well like they don't win 10 games. Freshmen don't win 10 games.
Sure.
We know that about BYU. Anybody who's expecting BYU to win 10 games should not be. We know that freshmen do not win 10 games.
So Isaac Wilson had 25 passing attempts per game last year. Devin Dampier had 32.
Bad comparison because Isaac Wilson was
and
inept.
They played quickly at New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. So you're talking about more drives, so more opportunities to throw the ball.
They wanted Isaac to play as slow as possible.
Correct. They just didn't want Isaac to have the ball.
Yeah.
So, but that's the question. If Dampier is throwing the ball away, Isaac had 11 interceptions last year. He was 1-1. Well, he's 10 interceptions or 10 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
But you talk about last year like
1-1.
You talk about last year like it was successful.
No, I'm not saying it's successful.
No.
At all.
I know, but you're like, but Isaac had this last year. Well, last year was a complete disaster. You can't have a replay of last year.
Right,
That's not a thing.
That's what I'm saying. So that's where they will neuter the offense, if that's the case. If that's where Devin Dampier is heading, they will just turn into a full running offense.
And then lose a bunch of games?
Yeah.
Well, exactly. We don't know. We don't know. What do we know about Utah? They could lose a bunch of games if it doesn't go well. Exactly.
I just don't think they're going to be a well-balanced offense. I don't think it's going to be a very dangerous passing attack. I don't think they have the pass catchers. I don't think Devin Dampier has shown he's a great passer. That doesn't mean the offense can't be effective. I think he's going to be effective with his legs, and Utah has had good teams win double-digit seasons without quarterbacks who can throw the ball particularly well.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars open the season at home at LaBelle Edwards Stadium as they welcome in Portland State. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Hanson Scotty on Wednesday for the Cougar Preview Show, brought to you by Beehive Meals. Ben and I have a bunch of random conversations in the break oftentimes, and we were randomly talking about names. And actually, that is kind of relevant. We don't have to dwell on this, but this is something that happened over the weekend, and I have a question. Okay, so Atlanta Falcons quarterback Michael Penix was walking off of the field. That's another thing, Junior. Don't tell me Junior, Christian. Stevon Smith once corrected me. I was like, hey, we've got the great Stevon Smith on the air. And he's like, it's actually Stevon Smith Sr. It's like, come on, dude.
I'm with you on the senior thing. First of all, sorry to reveal your family secrets, but you're a junior. Right?
Beyond that. But
yeah, you're not like, actually,
you can call me by
Mr.
this.
Scott the Fourth or whatever. Yeah, nobody cares. And senior means you've adopted it yourself.
Yeah.
As an adult.
Right. Yeah, it's silly. So Michael Penix, though, is walking off the field, and a fan in Dallas calls him by the obvious name. If you were going to mispronounce his name, that's what they did.
Mike.
No.
Oh, no, his last name.
His last name.
I see. Yeah.
Which is like incredibly uncreative and juvenile. We can all agree. Well, Michael got mad. He starts yelling at this fan. And I got to think here's my example for you. How old was Dick Butkus when he was like, I've heard them all in the book, dude?
Sure.
I've heard them all.
Right.
I'm not going to get worked up about this because, I've been called every funny name. By the time I got to fourth grade,
Right.
I'd heard them all.
My name's Dick Butkus.
Like if you're Michael Penix, I mean, how many times in your life has some mean kid or whatever done just that? I mean, I'm sure that's his entire 8th grade year. You know what I mean? Why would you get bent out of shape
Right.
now?
Sure.
Like that's not the first person that made that joke during that game.
Matt Harpring will not
Okay, very funny.
And had his MRI
Very funny.
of a joint in his spine and a slightly
Any
bulging
excuse.
disc in his
I meant to
back.
say disc.
Did you see this? Like last week, though, a TV station did it by accident. Like it must have auto-corrected
With
or
Michael
something.
Penix.
Yeah, it had his name up there, and it was misspelled.
Auto-corrected.
Whoops.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I don't
Sugar
understand
Ray
his reaction.
Yelled at a fan one time because he did the same thing with Sugar Ray. I'm with you. Yeah. I'm sure at some point you would hope it would stop, right? Like that might, I'm sure it was a
It's
sensitive
never
issue.
going to stop. People
I'm sure
are.
it was a sensitive issue. And he thought, I'm finally in the NFL and now it's going to go away. No, it's going to be worse than ever now. You've got a spotlight on you.
People are mean and people are dumb.
Yeah.
And so he's going to get that for as long as he plays sports.
Correct.
And every single person that comes up with it is going to think that they're a genius.
Change that.
You know what I mean?
Change that last letter.
Like,
That's my fantasy team's name.
that's funny. That is funny. You know how many people have been like, Jake the Snake?
Yeah. Right.
It's like, oh, hadn't heard that.
You got me.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
You just come up with that on your own?
Yeah.
So at what point are you like, oh, okay, all right, I got it, good one. But anyway, apparently he's still quite sensitive about it.
Speaking of being sensitive, did you see Utah State's depth chart?
No.
Nobody did. Also, Bronco Mendenhall, no depth chart in Utah State's official media release this morning.
He doesn't have to, so they're not going to.
Yeah, it's just it has a depth chart. There's just there's literally nothing on it.
The only person we know is the pig farmer is starting, right?
That's the belief. Yeah, I think
I think he said that, right?
so. Yeah, but
That
otherwise,
the pig
nothing.
farmer is the guy.
So we're going to see this more and more. Which again, it's just, and you know, it is a disservice to the opposing media and people covering the game. It is just a bit of a disservice.
Oh,
So
big
disservice
time.
to your fans. It's just goofy. I am pro Wit. I am pro Bronco. I think this is silly.
Well, Bronco's justification, at least in spring ball, and I think it continues to be, that he doesn't want his roster to get rated. It's like at some point people are going to figure out who's playing for your team.
And I'm sure they
And
are
you're-
also feeling that way. At some point, you're gonna watch the game on Saturday, and you're gonna see who rolls out against UTEP, and that's gonna be who's starting, and that's gonna be the depth chart. Again, it's people trying to do their jobs leading up to it.
Yeah.
And it's no game, in my opinion, has ever been won or lost by the depth chart that came out a week before the game started.
That's so funny. I'm looking through it right now. Like they released the media guide, and it gets to a page like
It
you were
says
saying.
offense,
it says
defense, and special teams.
depth chart, and it's just all blank.
It's all blank.
You know what honestly bothers me about it? Okay, let me put it this way. In college football in particular, fans actually don't care about players. They do in the temporary, but they're a Ute or a Cougar fan, and players come and go. It's the nature of the sport. You're a fan of the logo. You're not necessarily a fan of individual players. Thus, in college football, you can trade out 80% of the team, and the fans don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If in the pros, if you traded out 80% of the team, fans would go somewhere. You know, they're rooting, especially in basketball, they're way more rooting for players and stars and that sort of thing. But in college football, fans really don't care that much about the players. And I'm sure the players really like attention.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a backup tackle that when he's listed on the 2 deep at that backup spot is sending an email to his mom being
course.
like, dude, look who hit the 2 deep or whatever. Look who made the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Look, those bozos, Jake and Ben, were talking about me saying, wow, way to go. You made the 2 deep. None of that. I mean, it just takes attention off the players. In all honesty, it does. It just takes attention. And that's what Bronco admittedly wants, because when players get attention, then other teams find out about the player. But isn't Bronco, who is a pro player coach, isn't he actually doing that player a disservice? Yeah. And if you're not getting media attention, how much money are you getting for car endorsements or for throwing stuff out on the Snap Talk, and or all the ways that they're supposed to actually make NIL money by taking the attention away from the player? You're actually devaluing them and not doing the player a favor. So I feel bad. Our mutual friend, Carl Ganther, loved it every time his name was mentioned in the media.
Yeah.
Every time he got written about or whatever. It was a huge deal to him when he was playing. Hans, talk to Hans about it.
Of course, I'm totally with you. And I when I think of why Utah doesn't have a depth chart right now, and what you're saying about Bronco at Utah State, I think is exactly right. Bronco doesn't want his roster to get rated. Witt raves about Zach Williams after spring ball, and he immediately enters the transfer portal. Right, is going somewhere else because somebody said, "Oh, good receiver at Utah. I bet we can sell him that he'll get catches somewhere else, that he'll have an opportunity to play and be more of a guy somewhere else," and he transfers and gets more money. So in that sense, I'm sure they don't feel like they ever want to do these guys any favors and put their name out there unless they've signed them to a multi-year contract that gives them some semblance of security, and even that's a false word. It's like you just leave your contract. Yeah, you don't get that money for the second year, but you already gotten paid the first year, and you go somewhere else that's going to give you money. But I think along those lines, that would be the reason they would tell you. But, yeah, I think it's protecting the coach, not the player.
Not the player.
Yeah.
Not what's in the best interest for the player.
And if we're talking about, again, the myth of student athletes, what is this all about? It's not student athletes.
Well, and now Aggie fans are going to show up at the game, and they're still going to show up, and instead of going, wow, that Ben Anderson is pretty good, they're going to go, wow, that number 19 really plays well.
Really plays hard.
Yeah. I have no idea who he is, but boy, he looked like he was lighting it up out there.
Yeah. So.
I mean, people like going online and searching depth charts, and like, what's that one website that only exists for depth charts? What is it? Yeah. Our Lads or whatever it is?
Phil Steele's entire model and living is based off of depth charts. His entire lifeline is going out and putting out depth charts. And yeah, you can look at what his ratings are and what he thinks is going to be good here and there in his previews for the season. 99% of it is a depth chart and the team schedule.
How much money do you think Phil Steele has made for college football in his career?
Millions.
Yeah, hundreds of millions, maybe.
Maybe.
The amount of attention that he brings to every program, and now the magazine format is certainly outdated, and he has evolved to do it electronically and all this stuff. But you can still find one of those in the airport during the summer.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble, it's a huge thing still.
Yeah, so that just brings attention to everybody, and you find out about the teams. And actually, it's more necessary now than ever. I have no idea who's on what team.
Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
But, why would you want to promote
your product?
Your product or your team? Because you're worried about that attention working against you. But I think that feels like trying to put water back into a fire hose.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this behavior will prevent anybody at Utah State from transferring?
Of course not.
My guess is probably not.
In fact, I would think it might do the opposite.
Maybe a transfer over the summer. Maybe you saved. But you're artificially limiting the market for your players. Like there's a double-edged sword to that.
I don't think it's going to force anyone by themselves to leave when I say it might do the opposite. But if you're looking at other things, you're like, man, my brother plays for this other school and his name's on a depth chart. Mine's not. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's the straw that breaks the camel's back of just like, this is weird.
But Bronco was the guy who publicly said, until Ziggy Ansah, he publicly said at BYU he does not care about developing his players for the NFL. He said that. Mm-hmm. And now his justification for that was, we're raising better humans and we want them to succeed in life and all these other things, which are wonderful, right? But to not develop them for the NFL, that's like a policy that actually works against you, because recruits hear you say that And they want to go to the NFL, whether it's a realistic thing or not. In this case, I think he's justifying keeping an ultimate lid on his program to keep his players from being rated. But I think that works against him because players want attention and players want NIL money and players want there to be a market for them. And maybe they decide to stay in Logan, but they want there to be love. Everybody does. You want to be successful in the system. By artificially devaluing your players, I think you're doing a disservice to those players. And people aren't dumb. They're going to realize it. So I would guess this is a policy that at some point he's going to have to
adjust,
be a little bit more flexible. But Witt has gone entirely, he hasn't really given on any of this. He's only taken throughout his career, only limited access and taken away stuff. And he hasn't really gone the other direction and it's worked fine for him. So, what do I know? But I think eventually you pay for giving away free advertising.
Your name has quite literally never been more valuable in print in college sports than it is today.
Yeah.
And it'll be even more tomorrow. And it's only growing because of name, image, likeness. Not having your name out there is a bad financial decision for you. If that's what you care about, that's the truth.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
all right, we'll wrap up the show. Coming up next, it's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
It's a trip to the Rose Bowl for the Utes as they open the season this Saturday at UCLA. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on their ways, talking sports. They got him made Jake's and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
I think the biggest difference between Bear Bachmeier and Isaac Wilson is the fact that Bear Bachmeier is taking first-team reps before the season even begins. Isaac was on the second team, had to get shoved in the middle of the season. I think there's a big difference there. Bear has an opportunity to train a little bit more, get more prepared, be more comfortable with the system. Just one man's opinion.
Absolutely, Brian, right there on the call-in feature, KSL Sports app. I think a true frosh is a true frosh and not to expect much. So I don't know if I 100% agree with Brian, but a true frosh, having as much time to prepare as possible, yeah, that's probably a better thing than just being thrown in.
I agree with both of you, where I would disagree with Brian and I guess agree with you, or disagree with you. I just don't think you know until they're on the field. If Isaac Wilson had gotten all the reps last year before the season, was Isaac Wilson going to be a significantly better player?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Probably not.
I don't know.
Probably not. It could have made a difference, but not.
How many first-string reps was, and again, we're talking true freshmen, it's different, but how many first-string reps was Cam Rising getting before the year he took over as starter in game 2 or 3, whatever it was?
Not many.
He was the backup.
Yeah.
So not many. He was better.
Maybe some in camp, but for the most part, no.
Yeah. So you just kind of get it on the field and you got to see. So I don't know what to expect from Bear Bachmeier other than I just think there's only so much you can know as a freshman, as a true freshman. Even if you get all the reps, you don't have 12 or 13 games worth of reps. You don't have a season worth of reps. I mean, I've been listening to some stuff on Deshaun Foster at UCLA and the quarterback, as a head coach. He took the job in March last year. It was weird timing. Chip left or whatever happened, and he got the job at a weird spot. And he got promoted right from running backs coach. He was never even the OC. And now they're talking about UCLA and Deshaun Foster like this is his first year. Now he knows. This is a guy who's been in college football his whole life, right? How long ago was he playing at UCLA? Long time ago. Like he's been doing this forever. And he now, as a coach, is in his second year and he feels like, okay, now I've kind of got it figured out. Jay Hill has been a head coach, talked about going to his second season at BYU, finally figuring out like, okay, I know what to expect. Like Bear doesn't know what he doesn't know, even if he gets 1 million first-team reps. Until you're on the field and play 12 games and know what it's like to go on the road in week 6, I just don't think it matters what you do all that much. The reps help, but there's certain things you just can't replicate.
He's the guy that Snap talked out all of his relevant medical information and revealing a more serious injury when he was trying to say, do you remember this? He sent
Sean
out.
Foster?
He sent out, and I should Google this to make sure I'm not slandering somebody, but he sent out a picture of an MRI trying to say something, and it revealed that he had like a broken foot.
Okay.
But then he left all of his information on the MRI. Like it said all of his medical information on the MRI or whatever. So I don't know. Take that for what you will, but that's what stands out to me about Deshaun Foster. And actually, that wasn't that long ago. Was that Arian Foster?
Different guy.
Dang. Slandered Deshaun
Former
Foster.
Texans running back.
Yeah, Arian Foster. You remember that, Christian?
No, I didn't. I was Googling the story, and
he was an interesting
ESPN artipen article about Arian Foster post
It was
MRI
Arian
photo.
Foster. Oh, corrections and retractions. Apologies.
He was an interesting dude. Wasn't he vegan?
He is very weird. He still is.
A weird
he's
dude.
pretty active with Barstool Sports right now, and he's odd.
Yeah, he's a weird dude.
Ben, we talked about how poorly run, bad owners can win sometimes, but usually bad owners are destined to repeat the same bad behavior over and over again. Mm-hmm. How about this? The Cincinnati Bengals, I'll give you an example. They're owned by a dude named Mike Brown. Did you hear Boomer Esiason's probably the most famous Bengal in history?
Okay. Chris Collinsworth. Tony Munoz. But yeah, okay.
But probably
Joe Burrow now.
Probably
Lamar.
Boomer.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the Bengals were going to they're doing a Ring of Honor ceremony or whatever. And so they're inviting their legend players to come into town. And Boomer got invited.
Okay.
And he got an email. Okay, he read the email on the radio, so let me just read you the email. The Bengals organization is excited to celebrate our legends community and kindly invite you and a guest to join us in celebrating Dave Lapham and Lamar Parrish on Ring of Honor weekend in October, culminating at our game on Sunday, October 26th, when the Bengals take on the New York Jets. More details are below, and we kindly ask you to RSVP no later than Friday, August 22nd. You and a guest can receive 2 complimentary tickets with an opportunity to purchase an additional one if you wish. If you are traveling in for the weekend from out of town, we have secured a block of rooms at the Renaissance Hotel at a preferred discount rate. Rooms are limited, so please book directly for the early and best rate. We look forward to hosting you in the jungle for an unforgettable weekend. Don't hesitate to reach out with me or another guy on the staff with any questions. Thank you, and hoo-day.
Well, if you want a +1, you're going to have to pay for it.
You're the Bengals, and it's Boomer Esiason.
There's limited
you
seating.
can fly Boomer in.
There's limited seating.
You
There's a
don't-
group rate. There's a code.
That a Renaissance.
Send us an email, and we'll send you the code for the group rate.
Boomer Esiason's going to be like, I've got an additional 1 ticket I could purchase. Boomer Esiason. What did he do for that franchise?
Not enough. You gotta do more.
What did all the Bengals legends do for that franchise? They're like, we're going to send you an email. And if you could get here, we'd love to see you at the game. We'll give you a couple of tickets, but you got to pay for the third. And the good news is we got you a discount rate at the Renaissance Inn. Are you kidding?
Well, bad teams are bad teams. I wish I could say it was anything different, but what have you come to expect from idiots or idiots? They're just going to continue to show that they're idiots, and this is the Browns.
It's crazy. Like, running the day-to-day operations of an NFL franchise is expensive. I mean, in comparison to other expenses that the NFL or that an NFL team has, a couple of plane tickets for your legends has got to be a drop in the bucket.
You have not accumulated enough miles some way to get something taken care of.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
what
have
I'm
a
saying.
sponsorship with Delta or Spirit.
What
or
other
whatever.
corners are they cutting?
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah, everywhere.
And that's bad. I mean, that's bad ownership.
Again, Ryan Smith buying the Utah Mammoth and
Where's the sound effect?
Having to take on old bills from the hotels that the last owner wouldn't pay for his players during the season.
Having enough tape in the locker rooms.
Having enough tape in the locker rooms. Like, yeah, what is that? $2?
See, that stuff really matters.
It absolutely matters. It's why people think the Lakers are going to take a big jump forward now, moving on from the Buses, who were weirdly cheap with stuff because they didn't have that much money.
Well, the kids were terrible.
Yeah.
The old man knew what he was doing. The kids they were all terrible.
BYU did release a depth chart quickly. I know we've got Hans and Scotty coming up next. A couple of things, I guess, to keep an eye on. Didn't name an official starter at either guard position. Waylon Lapuaho or Sonny Makasini at left guard listed as Ors or Austin Leosa, or a Kyle, what is it, Suffolchak, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Both listed as Ors. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. But otherwise, not a lot of battles undecided yet.
All right, Hans and Scotty are coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Jake and Ben
Thanks,
Show,
Christian.
97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.